What is up, guys? I am back with some starts and some sits in each position other than in kicker. And this is more for fantasy football, not for NFL picks or any other sort of thing. These are just the players that I think are going to do well this week or not perform well this week at all. So we're going to start with the starts. The QB that I have listed as basically my start of the week is Derek Carr. There's a lot of hype behind Carr this year, but there's also a lot of doubt in him. I think his first game is going to be good. It's versus the Titans. They're the 30th pass defense, so two off from the worst. And they have the second best run defense in the league. So they're going to be able to stop the run with Marshawn Lynch, and then that'll force the Oakland Raiders to pass the ball more. And I think this game is going to be a shootout, so it should be high scoring, high yardage. So I would start Derek Carr if you have him on your roster. The running back for this week is Le'Veon Bell. The Browns are the 31st run defense in the NFL right now. Although you can't really tell yet who has the best and worst defense, because these are all based off of last year, and there are changes. But anyways, Bell is great on both sides of the ball. The Steelers are going to be dynamic this year, so I would start Bell over any running back in the league. Wide receiver, I have Doug Baldwin. Baldwin is on the Seahawks, of course. I have a lot of doubt in Baldwin, but they're playing the Packers, and the Packers are the worst defense against receivers and against passing. And really, to me, this game should be high scoring. I don't care if the Seahawks have a great defense. The Packers have a great offense. So, not that the defense is not going to stop the Packers. I just think that this game is going to be a lot more of a shootout than people will think, meaning that Baldwin will probably be the top target for Wilson, and he'll get lots of yardage and maybe a couple touchdowns. The tight end for this week is Kyle Rudolph from the Vikings. The Saints are pretty terrible on defense, especially in the passing defense. They are 31st in the NFL. And Rudolph, he's a pretty key aspect of the Vikings, even though many may not even see that. I honestly don't pay attention to him that much, but he does actually play a pretty big role in their offense. So I would target him as a starter in this week. The other tight end that I thought was equally as good this week would be Jimmy Graham, and this is again just going back to the Green Bay Packers and their terrible pass defense. I think he'll have a good week this week against them. The starting defense is the Rams. The Colts are without Andrew Luck. That has come out, and that means that Hilton, his value has gone down this week. They have Gore, who's really getting up there in age. He's not that fast. Their defense really, it's not great. So they may end up passing the whole time, but I think the Rams have a good enough defense to stop them. And yeah, I think they'll do a good job in doing that. So moving on to the sits of the week. These are pretty simple. The sits are just the players that no one wants, that you don't want to start at all. So for quarterback, I would not advise starting Phillip Rivers. He's going against the best pass defense, being the Broncos. Last year, he in 2 games, since they're in the same conference, he got a combined 445 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. That's not very good for 2 games. And so I would highly advise against starting him, and really starting any of the wide receivers on that team. The running back for this week is Marshawn Lynch. I would not start Marshawn Lynch. Like I said earlier, the Tennessee Titans, they are the second best defense. They've allowed 88 yards per game last year. That's not a lot at all. Lynch is kind of coming in cold. It could be a shootout, so he might not even get a lot of carries because they're constantly passing. So I would not advise starting Lynch. I think it's good anyways to wait it out and see how he comes back. The wide receiver I have for sitting is DeAndre Hopkins. Jacksonville is actually a pretty good pass defense. I didn't realize it, but they're the 4th best. And Hopkins is kind of a wild card. He had a great year a couple years ago. Not so good of a year this last year. And the quarterback situation isn't much better than last year in Houston. So I would wait him out. I don't think he's going to have a great game against Jacksonville, but we'll see. The tight end that I would advise sitting is Tyler Eifert. Baltimore has they have a very solid defense all around. They're good in the run, they're good in the pass. I think this game is going to be pretty low scoring. Baltimore's one team that is basically, in my mind, known for kicking a lot of field goals. So I would expect it to be low scoring, lots of field goals, not a lot of touchdowns. And so I would not start Eifert. I would start someone like Martellus Bennett, who, even though he's going against the Seahawks, I think he'll do a little bit more than Eifert. The defense I would suggest sitting is the Vikings. They are a very good defense. I agree with that statement. But the Saints' offense is much better than you think. They have a lot of weapons. I think they'll have a pretty dynamic year, just like last year. And the Saints' defense is so bad that they're going to be on the field passing the ball or running the ball a lot. They're going to be on the field a lot this year. So those are my starts and sits. Hopefully this helped you. If it did, leave a like. I'd like to see if you guys think this series should kind of go on or not. So I'll come out with another one next week, as well as a predictions video. And I'll see you then. Peace.